All right, and we will go ahead and start. Make sure if you're on XCOM, you have your name and your title. And I would like to bring this meeting to order. Our mission, the Fairfax County NAACP is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization whose mission is to achieve equity, political rights, and social inclusion by advancing policies and practices that expand human and civil rights, eliminate discrimination, and accelerate the well-being, educational, and economic security of Black people and all people of color. Next slide, please. Okay, now that the meeting is called to order, we will have Chair Pat give us an opening prayer.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Let us look to the Lord. Gracious and Almighty God, we thank you for the gift of this day and for the opportunity to gather in unity and purpose. As members of this Fairfax County NAACP branch, we are grateful for the opportunity to serve, to lead, and to care for the community. Guide our hearts and minds as we conduct ourselves with wisdom in our decisions, strength in our advocacy, and compassion in our service to others. Bless this meeting, O God, and let all that we do be pleasing in your sight. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, everyone, thank you for coming to this important meeting. We have a praise report. As you all know, Fairfax County NAACP are boots on the ground. Every month, you all see pictures and social media posts and newsletters about all the work that we're doing in the community. And although we don't do it for likes, it feels good to be recognized for the hard work. As we are all volunteers, we all have families, we all have other responsibilities, but we all come together, black, white, red, and green, for a common goal, which is equity within Fairfax County for Black people, people of color, the disadvantaged, the underrepresented. And this year, we have been honored, we have been recognized by our higher headquarters, our national NAACP, and we are the distinct winners of the highest achievement, which is the Tallhammer Award. Do we have can either Chair Michelle or Ms. Honor show the flyer? This year's convention was in Chicago, Illinois, and we had four delegates. We had Secretary O'Brien, Second VP Shockley, Housing Chair Chair Payton. We also had Chair, did I say Chair Pat was there, as well as our member at large and Region 3 VP Karen Camblin. And we were, again, we won the third place for our programs. Thank you. And we brought home first place for our publications. Let me just speak on publications really quickly. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Chair Michelle. We do a lot with a little, and we're a tight-knit little family here on XCOM. And every post you see, the newsletters, the press releases, that comes from one person, maybe two, but the primary person is Chair Michelle Pulliam. And she is the reason why we brought home first place. She doesn't take a day off when it comes to our comms. She doesn't take a break when it comes to our social media, our website. She and our political action committee chair, Ms. Lenore Simmons, uh, work together. But at this time, I want to recognize our communications chair, Michelle Pulliam, and bring her to the center stage. She was not there to get the award on behalf of the branch, but I would love to give her the microphone, so to speak. Chair Michelle, and everyone give her a round of applause. Is she here? Is
It
she
looks
speak?
like she may have dropped off, President Zimmerman.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see her. Okay. Well, at this time, we would like to hear from the delegates who came, who went to the convention on our behalf, and we'll start with Secretary O'Brien. What were your thoughts about the convention? Was anything resolved? What's coming down the pipeline?
Yes, happy to share my thoughts, and I want to show everybody these wonderful awards. They don't show up very well, but you can see two different trophies here, and that's what we'll have to join the others that we've already won. These are number 3 and number 4 that we've won over the past 8 years. So very, very thrilled to have been available and on site. Um, Les Shockler was the one who got on stage and accepted them on our behalf. Uh, I wanted to say about attending this particular national convention. It's probably my fourth or fifth. I attended several on my own before becoming a member of the branch, but I think this was one of the best, and I think it's because we're in such a time of crisis that we saw not only the NAACP showing out in force, but all of our allies showing out in force as well. There's a full day of seminars ahead of the actual meeting that many of us had the opportunity to attend. That's called the Charles Houston. It's basically legal training seminars. If you're a lawyer, you can get your um, extra, educational credits if you attend these meetings. But they had the most impressive group of lawyers, not only from the NAACP, but from allied groups as well. Like, let me just read them off here. Um, I can't grab that, but I'll say that the topics that they focused on were topics very current with today. The uh, gerrymandering issues. They had the top lawyers telling us the briefs that they're filing to get some of these things turned back. They also advised us that many states are now passing their own voting rights acts to counteract what was done at the Supreme Court with regard to the vote of the National Voting Rights Act. Um, they had sessions on, fighting back against authoritarianism. They had session, just really very interesting and very strong uh, presentations by a large group of allies of the NAACP. I was very, very impressed with that. Um, the other thing I'll talk about is the fact, and I think last year we heard about this as well. We spent a full day just going over the resolutions that the membership want to pass to give guidance to the national organization about uh, where they should put their efforts and energy in the coming year. This year, Karen Camblin served on the resolutions committee. They received over 200 resolutions and were able to kind of condense them and combine them into about 100 that we looked at and voted on during that full day of activity. And it was just an impressive list. And we can certainly I think all of us who are members get copies of those in advance. They are available electronically on the NAACP website, but they range from all the issues that we care about: the criminal justice, housing, education, healthcare, you name it. And they're on top of every single issue you can imagine. So I thought that was a day very well spent. And I'll turn it over to my other colleagues for their comments.
Second VP, yes, Les Shockley.
Yes, what an experience it was. Mike has covered some of it, and I felt that I was really fortunate to attend the convention last week. It was my first, and I was so grateful to be in the room to hear the messages of our NAACP leadership. It was inspiring. I mean, this McCormick Place setting was a huge venue, And to be in a room with a couple of thousand people saying in unison, fired up and ready to go, it kind of gave me chills when I heard it. But it was a giant pep rally, to get us motivated about the work that lies ahead of us. There was talk of, there's a campaign now, $20 million that's been put into investing in voter registration and getting out the vote for the midterm elections. They cited registering 6.5 million people in those states where voter rights are being threatened and at risk, and we want to turn the tide there. We met as we're part of Region 7, and it was a good experience to meet some of the people from Region 7. That includes Virginia, DC, and Maryland. And it was an honor to have our own Karen Camplin, heads up resolutions, be one of the leaders for us in Region 7, doing a great job. What Mike said about the resolutions book is I found it interesting because there's a lot of facts in there about the situation on a whole myriad of topics that I started to review and highlight, because when I have discussions with people about our situation, whether it's in schools or health, etc., I mean, we could just cite information like that. The attorney generals, I said it on that session with Attorney General from Minnesota, Ellison, who won an award, in fact, for his work, as well as the state attorney generals from Illinois and Washington. Quite impressive. And Kristen Clark, I mean, she's amazing. We're in good hands with her, under her leadership on the legal front. And I was just really inspired by the whole experience, and really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it. Separately, I was fortunate to get tickets for the Obama Presidential Library. This is a PSA announcement here, and I encourage all who can make it to Chicago to visit the library. My wife and I spent 4 hours there. And by the way, for the veterans in the room, I mean, it's difficult to get tickets now because there's a waiting list with all the interest. But if you're a veteran, you can go. If you happen to be in Chicago, you can go without a ticket, and you can bring up to 3 guests to pay. Only the guests would have to pay the entry fee of $30, but the veterans get in free. And I think that's an admirable recognition of service that the library's done. So again, it was a great experience, and thank you.
Chair Pat.
Hi again, everyone. Yes, I attended as an observer. So I was able to freely go around to all the different seminars and workshops. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I will say, on Sunday morning, things get started with a worship service. And every year it gets better and better. This year, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III from Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago brought the word. But more importantly, he produced a video about voting rights, telling the story of his grandfather trying to vote for the first time in 1947. That video was so moving. I'm going to put the link in the chat, because he said, you can share it, download it, do what you want to do with it. So I'm going to put that in the video. I mean, in the chat box, because it was so moving, and to know that we're still going through what his grandfather went through, so many years ago, is unbelievable. But it's a very, very, very moving video that he produced, and it's really nice. So I'll stick that in the chat for everyone. But yes, it was a wonderful experience.
Chair Payton.
Yeah, I was very inspired by the conference. It was great to be there with so many people, and to have the memory go back so far to the founding of NAACP and the civil rights times. I was especially inspired by speeches by the daughter of Medgar Evers and the son of Jesse Jackson, who I think we'll hear quite a lot from coming years. He was very, very good. And just the idea of having fought for civil rights so hard for so long and now having to do it all over again is, but knowing that we're going to win it again is inspirational because it's possible and it's hard, but there were a lot of people there united on doing it again. I really did like the voting on the resolution session, the all day session. And there were several housing resolutions, and they spanned the whole gamut from tenant rights to fair housing to homelessness. There were quite a lot on homelessness and also on development and displacement, which we've been working on in our committee. So we seem to be right in line with what people are thinking at the national level. I was also impressed by the youth uh, in the session on the resolutions. There were it was a gang of youth that was brought there for by mentors, but they were very progressive, and they actually stood up on the floor and amended the amendments to some of the resolutions and came up with a couple of progressive, pushing some of the resolutions in a more progressive direction. So they seemed very happy and very energized, and that was a really good feeling to see that. Um, yeah, Mike and I went over to the Obama Center too. We didn't get in like Les did because we didn't have tickets ahead of time, but just walking around there and talking to people, a lot of people from the conference went over there after the last day. And just seeing the artwork and the rooms and the spaces dedicated to different civil rights heroes through a long time, like Harriet Tubman on up to John Lewis, was really inspirational. So it was a great experience, and I really urge people to do that, to go to a conference.
Thank you. Um, Region 3 VP Karen Camblin.
Hi, everyone. I apologize. I'm unable to turn on my camera while speaking. I am in Danville right now at a conference, and my cell reception is low. So I'm going to try and not freeze during this. But yeah, I'm going to say ditto with everything else, with everything that was said. I agree that this is probably I think this is the best conference convention that I have been to. And this is my second or third. Um, I think it being in Chicago right around the time as the presidential center being open, I was able to go and see a little bit of it. I didn't have a ticket, unfortunately, but even without a ticket, you have access to a very large portion of the development. I was also able to participate in the People's Climate Summit, which was highlighting all of the environmental justice issues that National is campaigning, included the Stop Dirty Data Center campaign. And I was able to make a presentation, a Virginia report out on some of our successes and our major obstacles that we are encountering it during that campaign. And as you heard, I was also able to participate in the resolution committee. I was voted to represent Region 7 next year on the resolution committee. I look forward to that. There is a slight change in the format on how our conventions are going to be moving forward. The full convention for adults is now going to be every other year. And then, so in 2027 for the adults, the only thing that we will be focusing on is on our resolutions and legislative priorities. And then in 2028, we will have a full convention, such as what we're just describing today. Our youth and college division will have full conventions regardless. So in 2027, it'll be a full youth and college. and in 2028 it will be a full youth in college. So next year it's going to be kind of pared back a little bit and only focusing on our priorities. Um, I was able to attend the Freedom Fund, which was my very first time attending a convention Freedom Fund, or at least on a national level, and I'm very excited that I was able to do so. The Spring Garn Medal was awarded to Reverend Dr. Amos Brown. And the exciting part for me, not only hearing his inspirational speech, and he also brought up Reverend Jeremiah White to right to the audience, to the, what do you call that thing, stage as well. And it was just really powerful to see the two gentlemen on the stage. But he also, Reverend Dr. Amos Brown also said that there are three books. If anybody's going to read a book this year, there's three books that they're supposed to read. And one of them, which he held up, was the book by our very own Mike O'Brien. So that was awesome. And we cheered. And Mike was able to do a little bit networking, radio host who wants to interview. It was just so awesome being around such greatness. And then I'm trying to make sure I got everything. Yeah, so that was it. So stay tuned. We will be having resolutions. This is how NAACP makes its policies and its rules is through, as you know, NAACP, we make our rules through motions and resolutions. So as you do your advocacy, and you think that there should be a resolution that we should move forward with, please do so next year. And I think everything will be due in April. But yeah, so it was an amazing convention.
Thank you. All righty. So again, a big round of applause for the branch and being awarded 2 Tallheimer Awards this year. All righty, as we move on, well, this is a part of my president's report. Um, very quickly, we are working on a Black Agenda event for September 12th, 2026 at First Baptist Church of Vienna. We are partnering with Black Voices of Fairfax, as well as First Baptist Church of Vienna. The event will be again 12 September 2026 from 9 to 3. Breakfast will be provided at 8. That is what we're shooting for. And we will also have lunch provided. We will have breakout sessions. We have a plenary session in the morning, and then 2 different breakout sessions. We have one in the morning, then we'll break for lunch for an hour. Then we will have another breakout session in the afternoon, and then we will close out with our agenda. So please stay tuned for more information for that, but pass the word around as much as you can. We will have the flyer ready by the 3rd of August so that you all can start RSVPing and we can get a good head count of who's going to come. So again, that is the Black Agenda event, kind of like a town hall, but again, we're going to have breakout sessions and we're going to hear from the community. Some of the breakout sessions will be criminal justice and racial justice, housing, political action. We will talk about the budget. Give me a second. We'll talk about the budget as well as economic development, and I think that's about it for the breakout sessions. But it will promise to be a great informative day. We will be inviting the local elected officials as well as state elected officials. Not sure if they're going to speak, but we are going to extend out an invitation for them to come either in the morning or afternoon or if they want to spend the whole day there. Okay, I'm going to pause for any questions. I see one, Diana has one.
Yes, thanks, President Zimmerman. What is the cost to attend this seminar for any of us?
What seminar?
Oh, I'm sorry. This agenda, the Black Agenda event.
It is free.
It is free. Okay, I wasn't
It
sure.
is free to you all.
Okay, I
But
wasn't
we
sure.
are looking for sponsors. So it's free to the attendees, but we are looking for sponsors.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Sherelle, I think I said that right. Sherelle, yes.
Yes, good evening, President Zimmerman.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm with the League of Women Voters for Fairfax.
Yes, ma'am.
Will there be voter registration tables there? I didn't know if we're going to do it or if I could tell the league about it.
We will have a voter registration table. What is the last when is the last day to register to vote, Ms. Lenore?
For the upcoming primary, it is passed,
Okay.
but for the November general election, it is October 24th.
So we will
Okay.
have a table set up for that.
Okay.
I believe DeShane was supposed to speak with you all about being sponsors for that event.
Yes, he did.
Yes, so you can follow up with me via email and talk about, how you all would like to sponsor. But we are looking for sponsors to cover some of the fees and of course to be there with their entire organization. But we will have a voter registration table, or if you all are actual sponsor, you all will have your own voter registration table and we'll just have our merch table set up. Miss Dee Dee Carter.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody reviewed the 1972 Black Agenda Convention that they had in Gary, Indiana?
So that is funny that you mentioned that because I was going to talk to XCOM
Yeah,
about having a special viewing of that
yeah.
Nation Time. We
That
can
was
do
very
it.
exciting time back then. I mean,
Yes.
we were really black. We were really black then. I don't know about today, but back then we were really black.
Amen. So yeah, we're gonna see about having a special screening leading up to that. We were actually supposed to have movies playing this summer, but life got in the way. So we can, and Nation Time was one of the titles that we were going to watch as a branch over the summer. So we're not going to count that out. We can still do that in August to kind of wet our beaks and get us ready for September 12th. So stay tuned for a viewing of Nation Time. It's called Nation Time, and we will have a lively discussion after we watch it. Again, we were supposed to have movies over the summer, so we're still in the summer. We did not do it in June and July. We were very busy, but August that will be the title that we will watch, Nation Time. Any other questions before we move on? All right. Um, the gala. We are looking for sponsors and vendors for our gala, October 10th, 2026. Thank you. Our keynote speaker is Roland Martin this year. It is a masquerade ball, and we are very excited. Tickets are on sale now for $150. You can be a table sponsor or you can be a sponsor. So that's something that the League of Women Voters, Ms. Sherelle, can look into being a sponsor for the gala as well. Depending on the level of sponsorship, you all will be permitted to have a table out, and you will also be able to just buy an ad for your organization. It's for everyone on the call. If you're a part of an organization, please visit our website, www.fairfaxnaacp.org/freedom fund, or someone can you please put it in the chat and look at our sponsorship tiers as well as the prices for the tickets. Tickets are on sale now and they're going fast. And also look at vendor opportunities. If you have a small business and you would like to sell your merchandise at the gala, please take a look at it. And time is ticking away. So the gala, Freedom Fund Gala, keynote speaker, Roland Martin. For those of you who don't know, he is a syndicated radio and TV host. And he is very popular. I've known of Roland Martin since I was a little girl, and that was a long time ago. So, okay, so that's it for the president's report. Any questions? I'm sorry.
This is Sherelle again. Who is the chair for the convention, for the vendors?
That would be Deshane. So
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So you
All
can
right.
reach out to Deshane or Miss Evelyn Spain, but Deshane is the chair. So I will recommend that you talk to Deshane first about being a sponsor or being a vendor for the event, as well as getting a table or tickets. If you all can also, Miss Sherelle, take the link and the flyer, and if you could post it on your social medias and as well as your newsletter, that would be a great help to the branch.
Okay, all right.
Thank
Uh,
you.
And
Um,
I also have a list of vendors from doing NCNW's fashion show. So if I can get the list of vendors to Shane.
yes, please. And when you send it to him, CC Miss Evelyn Spain.
Oh, okay. I'll
Thank you.
send Evelyn too. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I believe Diana had her hand up first, and then Miss D.
Yes, thanks. Can you briefly speak to the masquerade mask and dress for that for the Freedom Fund? I mean,
Yes,
how
much.
important is that? Yeah.
How important? Well,
Yeah.
it's a part of being festive, but we will, for those of you who do not have masks, I believe we'll have some lower cost masks available for purchase. I'm not sure, maybe $5, $10, but a lot of times people like to get creative, as Miss Dee Dee did last year with the sneakers for the sneaker ball and Carl when they won. So the more creative your mask is, we are going to have door prizes and things like that for, I believe, most creative masks. So it's just being festive as far as your attire, semi-formal, just as previous years.
Oh, but it doesn't have to be Bridgerton specific, or you're
Yeah.
not. Oh,
No,
I got the impression it was Bridgerton with the clothing too.
Mm-mm.
I don't know
no.
where I got that. Okay, thank you. That was
Thank
just
you. I like the
okay.
show, but no.
Mhm.
Evelyn told me that,
I
I
was
think.
waiting for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's the idea because Bridgerton wears masks. So
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
new outfits. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
I was looking.
Miss Dee Dee.
Thanks.
How many tickets are available? Should I just wait until Evelyn give her report? Because I'd like to know how, because I'm trying to recruit people to participate, but I don't know how many tickets are left. So if I can,
We have enough tickets. If you want to get purchase tickets, the site is still open to purchase tickets.
okay.
But we will let everyone know when we're down to the wire and we're down to a few tickets. But the best thing to do is to go ahead and get whatever tickets you're going to get now.
Yeah, I've already bought my ticket, but I'm trying to encourage other people to attend too.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
For those of you who are regular attendees at church, again, give your pastors the flyer and see if they could put it in the church announcements.
This is Didi. Should we print it out and give it to Reverend Walton? Because I can give it to him on Sunday,
Yeah, that's fine.
unless he's
Or either email it to them.
okay.
Whatever is easier for
Okay.
you all will be great.
All right.
But the link is on our website and we've been posting about it as well. Ms. Sherelle, and then we're going to have to move on to the secretary's report. Ms. Sherelle? Going once, going twice. All right. Now we're going to move on to the secretary's report with Secretary Michael Bryan.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick note that we did include both our May and our June minutes in the notice that went out just a couple days ago about this meeting. And I would entertain a motion. First of all, if there are any comments, corrections, updates, we'll take those. But if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
Mike, I sent one correction. Did you get that?
Yes, I did. Sorry, Mary, I responded a little late, but yes, I did, and I've updated that to reflect that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the voice of Rachel Luckenbaugh, our wonderful assistant secretary who does the minutes for the branch, both the membership meeting and the executive committee meetings. We are so grateful to have her. And thanks for being here tonight, Rachel. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept and approve the May and June minutes. This is Les Shockley.
Thank you, Les. A second.
Second, Jesse Ernest.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right. All in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye by show of hands.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Any abstention? That's you, Ms. Graves, or are you part of the ayes?
When they call it, is it going once, twice?
Did you call my name, President Zimmerman? This is Sherelle.
Sorry about that. I'm an
Okay.
aye.
Okay, you're an aye. Okay.
Thanks, Deborah. No,
Any discussion?
We're just passing the minutes right now. Yeah.
No discussion. Okay, the ayes have it.
Okay.
Thank you all. Back to you, Mr. President Zimmerman.
Thank you. Okay, we are ready for the treasurer's report. Treasurer Scott or Assistant Treasurer Norwood, whoever is prepared to give us the treasurer's report.
Yes, President Nikki,
Yes, ma'am.
Monique will be providing the report.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, just give me one update to share my screen.
Oh, this is fancy. I believe you're muted. You're muted, Monique. Monique, you're muted.
Sorry, bear with me. Let me go back. I couldn't see you all, so I didn't realize I was muted.
Thank you.
All right, let me just find my slides again.
While you do that, I'm going to move on to community news. So, starting with Ms. Deborah Graves, anything going on at Gum Springs?
Thank you, Madam President. The only thing that we have coming soon is our National Night Out, which is Tuesday, August the 4th, at the center. And, you know, of course, that's across, national night out, but that's what we'll be hosting at Gum Springs Community Center. And then soon I'll be giving you information about the back to school program that we'll be hosting as well, giving out backpacks, and that will be in August. Thank you.
Do you have a date for that one?
No, but I'll if I can find it now, I'll put it in the chat. But as of now, I don't have it because we, you know, as I told you, we canceled our meeting tonight because of the threat of tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get that information, I'll pass it on. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other community news that we need to hear about? Is anyone on the call a member of a organization that we need to know? Is anybody?
Hey, Nikki, it's Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, I was recently elected the president of the DLCV Payment Council, and DLCV today is having their day of giving. So you guys feel so inclined, you guys can give to the Disability Law Center of Virginia. They do a lot of good work for um, the disabled community, like across the state. But they're, even though it's mostly in Richmond, um, they they do a lot of good work. So if you guys feel so inclined, go ahead and give any amount. But I'm also on the board, and so that's we gotta do this. But I just thought um I'd give that PBS pitch, right? Um, because your favorite programs are made possible by viewers like you. So thank you. And that's my spiel. So
Thank you, and congratulations. Everyone give Brandon a round of applause. I've known Brandon for many years. He and I both sat on the Fairfax County Public Schools Advisory Board for Students with Disabilities, and that's how I know him, and that was many, many, many moons ago. And he has always been an advocate for our special needs community as well as our disabilities community. We also were on the board together for the Virginia board. We were both the governor appointed to the Virginia board for people with disabilities, where I chaired. And Brandon has always, he spent his entire life working for the disabilities community. So this is outstanding. Brandon, can you just go ahead and put the link in the chat for us? All righty. And Arthur Purvis, your hand is up.
Thank you, Madam President. I hope this falls under community news. I just want to mention that I'm the Republican candidate for the 11th Congressional District. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations. Arthur is a lifetime member of the branch, and we wish you luck on your endeavors.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, now we're gonna head back to the treasurer. Monique, are we ready?
Yes, we should be good. Are you able to
Okay.
see the screen now?
Yes. I'm gonna go
Okay,
on mute.
no problem. Let's try this again. Okay, so just providing a briefing of our accounts as of July 20th. Our account across 5 accounts sits at $138,213.37. And a breakdown of what that looks like. So our restricted account, this is money earmarked for grants, is at $43,984.99. Our Freedom Fund account, this is money earmarked for the gala and brings in fundraising for the branch, is at $39,401. Our operating account handles the day-to-day, is at $38,129.07. Our youth account sits at $14,085.09, and our PayPal balance, this is money that comes in for memberships or fundraise or donations from the branch, is at $2,614.21. Once again, just kind of shows what each account is specified for and a breakdown of the percentages that make up our overall balance. And barring any questions, that's all from the Treasury team.
I have a quick question. I worked with Erica. I can't remember the date. Erica, please refresh my memory. While I reconciled some of the expenses from the bill grant. Is that reflected on here already, or did I do that after the 20th? I probably did it after the 20th.
Yes, I did see those. I believe that was the 23rd, so that should be on the next
Thank
report.
you. All righty. I see some money in the PayPal. Can we go ahead and get a motion to have that moved to the operating account?
Okay.
Can someone make a motion? Oh, Monique, can you make the motion to have that moved, please?
I would like to make a motion to move $2,614.21 from our PayPal account to our operating account.
I second.
Roll call per second.
Okay. All in favor of moving 2,600 or $2,614.21 from our PayPal account to our operating account, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Oh, I'm an aye.
Who's a nay? Who's a nay?
Brandon's an aye.
Brandon, you're a nay?
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Said
Oh,
aye.
he's the aye. I'm sorry. Okay. Any abstentions? Any discussion?
President Nikki, I have one question about that.
Yes.
Does that include that balance? Does that include any outstanding requests for reimbursements that may have come in?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Monique, I had a question on the Freedom Fund account balance. I was just curious as far as future outlays for the event. Do you know how much we are expected to pay? That's on the Freedom Fund.
Yes, I do. I don't have that in this report, but I do have that balance. I can get that to you.
Okay, I was just curious.
But as of now, they do have enough to cover their balance.
Thank you.
I spoke with one of the vendors, I'm not vendors, one of the sponsors, and they expressed that they sent out a check about 2 weeks ago, and we haven't received it yet. So I went back to him and asked him, did he want to just cancel that check and I can meet him in person. So I'm still waiting on word for that, but that will increase the amount as well once I get that.
President Nikki?
Yes, ma'am.
I also encourage some of the vendors who want to, instead of sending in a check, that they contact me, because I found that it's really easy once I get in contact with the point of contact for the organization. They can pretty much send the money over via an electronic transfer. And
Okay.
it's pretty easy. So if you'd like, I can also be in contact with that person if they don't want to send a check, and I can actually make sure the transaction is done within less than 24 hours via transfer.
Okay, I asked that particular one that, and
Okay.
they said for whatever the reason, they have to do paper checks. Because I did
Okay.
ask, could they just PayPal or just send it, and that was the answer. So now I'm waiting for them to say whether or not they want to just cancel that check, and then I just meet them somewhere.
Okay. All right.
So that's the answer that I got. I can't remember why exactly they said they have to have a check and they can't just send it to us. But that's was one of the questions I had. Can you just send it? But I guess we're moving forward, and you all are going to move the money to the operating account. Alrighty. So we are done with treasures, no questions, and we're moving on. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to do budget. Matt, we're going to have you go last so that you can introduce your guest speakers right after. We're running a little behind, so let's keep our committee reports down to about 3.5 minutes if we can.
Okay, this is Les Shockley, reporting for the Budget Committee, and mine is brief. To let everyone know, Fairfax County budget entered the FY 2027 fiscal year on July 1st of this month. As is the case with each year, there are some funds that are left over from the prior fiscal year, 2026. Those numbers are being developed by the Office of County Exec Brian Hill, and has not been issued at this point. But since our last meeting, I sent a formal request to the board of each member of the Board of Supervisors members in the name of the branch, requesting that the board direct 10% of any available FY 2026 general fund carryover resources to Affordable Housing Development and Investment Fund, fund number 3300. So the report letter that will be issued by County Executive Brian Hill is expected to come out sometime in early August. So the idea here was to get ahead of the recommendations that might come out of his report and to see whether we can make any influence on those supervisors who are like-minded for housing program and affordability and emergency housing and those on the lower end of the economic spectrum. So I'll keep you posted as if I get any feedback. And that is my report.
Thank you. Any questions? Economic development.
Yes, we have drafted a flyer, and all of you are invited, encouraged to circulate it through your networks, your churches, and every other way. And the flyer invites people in the lower income parts of the county to take advantage of classes that are offered by the county, by the Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, and by George Mason University's School of Business on entrepreneurship. So we're encouraging people to take these courses, prepare themselves if they have an idea for a business they'd like to start, and start a business. And that flyer will be available shortly to all of you. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Chair America? Education.
Okay, so the only update I have for the month of July, we had a very busy month of June, and I know it was followed up, the forum was followed up with a call to action. And I don't believe, unless Nikki, since the last time we talked, that we've gotten any feedback from the call to action per se, not.
Yeah, yes, we have. We received an email, I believe, yesterday, and
Okay.
I will send that to XCOM from Superintendent Michelle Reed. And in that email that I believe her press person sent it to us, they are requesting to meet with branch leadership quarterly. That she will set aside in her calendar that we can meet quarterly, and she put some other things in it, and I'll send it to XCOM. Well, I'll send it to you first for your review, and then I'll send it to XCOM after.
Okay, so they'll be meeting more so with the broader branch leadership, not necessarily the education committee.
No, ma'am, Education Committee will be a part of that.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Quarterly. She's saying quarterly.
Oh, okay.
So I'll send you that. I apologize, I didn't send it.
Okay. And that's probably it for me.
And if you all did not see the outstanding forum that Education Committee put on, it is widely available through social media, and just if you go to YouTube, you can see it, you can Google it. But the Education Committee put on an outstanding superintendent's forum. Then we had our communications send out a press release, and we've gotten a lot of feedback. We had second VP Spain. She did 2 interviews, one with Roland Martin and one with a Sunrise show here in DC, discussing some of the things that we talked about at the superintendent's forum. So we are making waves. And then we followed that up with the call to action. And I will make sure Dr. Hunter gets that. I apologize again. It slipped my mind to send it to you. But thank you to Education for the hard work that you all put in the last 2 months, just the last 2 months alone, with the superintendent's forum and dealing with the discrimination issues within Fairfax County Public Schools. We will move on to housing.
Hi, Chairman Zimmerman. So we have, I guess, three things that are on top this month. One is a couple of years ago, we got the county to put up a new program for uh, giving the homeless people some relief from the very high temperatures we've are unfortunately getting used to during the summer. And the heat turns out to be a worse health problem than the cold. In the hypothermia winter season, we have churches that provide shelter for homeless people during the winter, but we don't have anything like that in the summertime. So we've got the county opening up county buildings and shelters and notifying homeless people electronically when things are opening up the shelters for anybody to come in during the night. So we've got one of our committee members is monitoring that program as it goes through this year, making suggestions on it. And we will, look again at the end of the year and make some comments back for improvement. We've also have a group working on homelessness from the winter where there were gaps in coverage between when a church let out homeless people to when a day center was available for opening, and people were apparently put out in a parking lot in very, very cold temperatures during the cold snap we had in January. And there's a group of people working in a joint committee between housing and religious affairs to try to make some proposals for solving that problem and making sure that people are protected from the cold. And there's a meeting with the head of Health and Human Services Department coming up, I think this week, where we're going to talk about, what can be done to make that less difficult for them. In terms of federal funding, I've been listening and monitoring a lot of groups talking about that recently. On the regular money, most of the money comes through HUD to the county directly. County's its own recipient apart from the rest of the state. Probably they're talking now about a continuing resolution that would include the HUD funding. The president wants to cut back fairly drastically on the funding for permanent supportive housing, which would hurt the homeless people and even put some people who are housed back on the street. And we're against that, of course. So I think we're okay for a little while on that, for months. There's also a big housing bill just passed called the Road Act, ROAD. And that's a very comprehensive act. It's got about 22 different bills in it that relate to housing. I'm still working my way through it. A lot of it is calling for studies and changes in regulations. It's like we're not going to see an effect of this real soon. It's going to take a while to implement, but all housing people are pretty happy with it, that it's making a lot of reforms that are long overdue. One of the things that's really good about it is it will increase the amount of lending for affordable housing. It'll not lending, but tax credits. It'll increase the number of tax credits the government gives out, which is the main thing that supports building affordable housing right now. So that's very exciting. That means more affordable housing will be affordable for developers to build, and we should see an uptick in that. The other thing we're working on is the development issues and how that affects displacement of people. The county right now is working on two plans they're coming up with. One is on economic development and one is a housing task force. The county realized in trying to attract people to the county, attract corporations to the county, that some of them were turning them down because our housing was too expensive for their employees to live in. So they started up a housing task force to look at how we can cut the time of review and what we can do to make housing more affordable and housing more affordable for the builders to build and for people to live in. And I'm keeping close tabs on both of those committees. I've been meeting with some of the staff, high-level staff who are directing those committees. And I'm impressed actually with the staff that are doing it. We are putting out a letter that says we don't want to divert county funding away from the poorest people because the development is going to do nothing for them. There's not going to be any free market housing for really poor people, but for middle income people, they will be able to make some progress to bring prices down, I think. So we are pushing them to keep the county money where it is in the category of people making less than 60% AMI. And also keeping them apprised of displacement. There's one project right now going on that's going to just at the Dunloring Metro that's going to displace about 700 renters. And these folks are just above the 60% level. They're not really poor, but a lot of them are real working class and 80%, maybe a little under 100%. County doesn't have any plan for them. Any kind of rent help or moving help if they get torn down. It's negotiating with the developers in each case. They have some guidelines for people under 60% AMI. And I think they should think about having some guidelines at least for over 60% because there's a lot of people at 80% who would need some help if their apartment is suddenly taken away from them. So we're going to work on that as well, because that's going to happen more and more often as we develop around our transit stations. Okay, that's it for now.
Any questions for housing?
Yes, this is Dee Dee Carter. Mary, what are they building over on Lee Highway?
Whereabouts on Lee Highway?
My understanding, they're going to build some affordable housing on Lee Highway and over by not far from the Vienna Metro across from the shopping center. So, and some of them are going to be, I think, townhouses that are going to be owned to, that the person can buy. I don't know if you heard about that one or not, but that's my understanding.
That's possible. They're trying to move more in the direction of having units for sale. Right now, it's a very, very tiny percentage of what they have. In fact, sometimes they hold a lottery for people who qualify to buy in a unit. And then when they actually get units, they can have up to 100 applicants for that unit that they draw it out by lottery. So it's pretty bad situation now, and they're trying to build more. I'll find out what that is and let you know. I don't know the name of it.
Thank you. Is Chair McCoy here? I think I've got an email that she wasn't going to be able to come. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have First VP Spain to cover Freedom Fund and when.
Yes, thank you, President Nikki. I see here that you have Deshane Jones. Deshane is the chair of the Freedom Fund, or is he over everything? I just wanted to go do clarification on that. I don't want to misrepresent because I put my name down as the chair of Freedom Fund on the sign up sheet. When we log in. The other thing I wanted to mention was for Mary and Dee Dee. Yes, there will be some housing. Pomeroy, I think, is the builder right now. I don't remember the name, but they are building some new homes. There are plans to build new homes off of Lee Highway. Yes, you are correct on that. We just approved it last week or the week before. As far as Freedom Fund, I understand that people are interested in tickets. We are very low in sales. Let me repeat that. We are very low in sales. We really need people to beef it up, to share the information with others that are out there. I know that President Nikki has been asking Chair Pulliam to do more notices about the vendors, we have no vendors signed up at this time. We have no advertisement signed up for this time. And we wanted to stop sales come September 10th. So we don't really have a lot of time. I mean, it seems like a far off time, but we really, really need to get the word out to encourage people to purchase their tickets for the Freedom Fund. As far as, are there any questions? What we do have is I am encouraged. We have some wonderful awardees. We're going to have lifetime achievement. Great things are going to be happening, but we do need those ticket sales to start coming in order for us to be successful and have a higher goal or reach a higher profit margin than we did the previous years. As far as when, there is nothing truly happening right now. We do have quarterly meetings with the state representative, and they did express that when women in NAACP should be working with like groups like PAC, right, to make sure that we're getting people out to understand there are voting issues that concern women specifically, the voting protection, the voter suppression, excuse me, the women's reproductive rights. So we really need to show up, and I will encourage the others on my team, in my committee, to help work with PAC, Ms. Simmons, Chair Simmons, so that we can be more supportive moving forward. And what was the last one that we had? WIN and Freedom Fund. Yeah, I think that's it for my reports, unless anyone had any questions. Please
Diana
let
has
us.
a question. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Evelyn, so is Deshane, he's working on the vendors, right? Last I heard.
Yes, but we have not had any come forward to say that they want to be a part of our event. Yes, he is working with them.
I was just curious.
But if anyone knows of any vendors that are interested and would like to know more, please send them our way.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions?
No, nothing else.
Oh, okay.
Nothing else.
Sorry not to bring you good news, but we were rolling for one moment. But we'll get there again. We'll get there again. It's going to be great. Thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
allowing me to do my report.
Okay. Deshane is the chair for Freedom Fund. We discussed that a while back, that there is no gala committee. There's this Freedom Fund. So he's the chair of Freedom Fund.
Okay, I'm going to try to encourage Deshane to come to these meetings from now on.
Okay.
If I'm not the chair. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll put my hand down.
Diana, your hand is still up. Diana, your hand's still up. Okay, that was it. Legal redress. That will be Chair Glassman.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. We had our meeting on Saturday. We normally have our meetings on Saturday at 10, but the consensus of the group was to change the time to evening to accommodate people coming from work and people who had things to do on a Saturday. So now we're meeting, our next meeting is August the 13th at 7:00 p.m. And I will definitely keep that on the calendar and send out an email to the membership. We've had, I would say now we have about 4 cases. And I have about 4 people working on the 4 cases. One is a more of a high profile case, which just came in, I would say about 3 or 4 days ago. And we're always looking for more members. I am trying to recruit more members, especially students that are in law school and would like to help us. I think, let's see, our meeting went for about an hour, and we have technically, I think we have about 12 to 15 members. But we would really like to have more cases because we're having people that are being mentored right now before they come on, and we have them. There's a process. There's a form they fill out. Then they're mentored through one case, and after they're mentored through one case, then we allow them to take a case on their own, but they have to be mentored first. So my name is not spelled right on here. It's La Reese, but it's not La Reese, but it's just Reese. It's LA. Just the LA is supposed to be it's supposed to be gone. But that's okay. That's all I have to report, and I'll turn it back over to our chair.
Thank you. All righty, membership.
Yes, hi, everybody. Jesse Ernest here for membership. First, as always, I want to thank and welcome all new members who are here. So all you new members, thank you for attending. And for those of you who are guests as well, we welcome you. There was someone I ran into, my wife and I, at a technology store here recently, and I see that she has joined. So welcome, Danielle. And everybody, if you could all reach out to somebody and invite to come to these, that would be fantastic. Danielle, as you can see, and all your other new members, notice all the committees. And most of us are needing assistance and help. And so the best way to get engaged is to join a committee. So if there's something that you see that's of interest, you see the email contacts, please reach out. Membership committee, we're looking for people as well. So I'll say that. Secondly, part of membership's job, there are really two roles. One, of course, is new members. So each of us should be, a member of the committee, membership committee, always looking for new members and letting people know what we do. And the other thing, we've got a 2-month campaign that we're starting to re-engage lapsed members. So we do not auto-renew here. If you sign up for an annual membership, once that membership ends, we need to just reach out to you again if you don't remember yourselves. And so we have a 2-month campaign that's starting in August that we're going to work to re-engage lapsed members. Okay, so that's my quick update. Thank you. Any questions for membership?
Okay, thank you. And I received my email from you and on behalf of the president of the branch. So thank you. Thank you and the president for sending me that email when I renewed my membership. So you are on it. Thank you again. Political action.
Good evening, everyone. Just a few announcements, reminding everyone that there is a primary election on Tuesday, August 4th. Check with Fairfax County Elections Board to see if there is a ballot in your area. You may not have one, but be sure to check if you do and vote on August 4th if you have not already. We are planning many activities leading up to the general election. So if anyone is interested in joining our committee, my email is on the screen. Please write and join us. Our next meeting is going to be it's always the first Monday, so it'll be August 3rd at 7 o'clock. And we will be at the Lorton Station community event this Saturday from 10 to 2. So stop by and see us. We're going to be registering voters for the general election, as well as providing some voter education information. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Religious affairs.
Yes, hi again, everybody. Really quickly, Religious Affairs, as President Nikki mentioned, is working with Minister Deborah Graves to conduct some outreach about the Black agenda, predominantly up and down the Route 1 corridor down there by the Gum Springs area. So we really want to reach that community to bring folks over to the church over in Vienna. And also remember, we're going to the ball game on August the 8th. So your prayers are needed that we will have a safe time there. And we're looking forward to fellowshipping 16 altogether going as a group for the game. Thank you.
Thank you. Scholarship has reported nothing new, and now we're going to go back to justice with Chair Saad, and after he gives his report, we will transition to our special guest. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing to report from criminal justice this month. And I'll sake of time, I'll keep my introductions brief for our speakers tonight. These are some folks that Chair Les, Chair Meredith, and I met with a few months ago about the county's criminal justice program, or county's co-responder program. And obviously there are three chairs there. This was very important for the branch. And, we all came away really impressed, not with just the co-responder model, but just the breadth of services provided to the community that helps people, particularly people with mental health and other behavioral health concerns, avoid police interactions, incarceration, etc. So we have today Lisa Potter. She's the director of Diversion Initiatives for Fairfax County, which is a continuum of alternatives to incarceration within the county. And I think the thing that we learned when we met with Lisa the first time, and I think you're going to learn today, is Lisa's always, tell her what you want, you're interested in, and she's going to find the experts who can provide you the information she needed. One of those is Laura Maddock, who we met with last time, and she's again here today. She started with the county in 2016 as the emergency service clinician and now serves as the acute services director for the Community Services Board, which provides life-saving services for people experiencing mental health concerns, substance misuse, and or development disabilities. So with that, I will hand it off to Lisa and Laura to take over.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Matthew, and thank you all for inviting us to join you. I am going to just send a request to share my screen. Okay, and hopefully you can see it. Because the one thing about Zoom, which is different than Teams, is I can't toggle the same way. So please let me know if there are any problems with seeing the screen. So we're happy to be with you here this evening and share some information about Diversion First overall, and also with a focus on crisis response. We do have some of our esteemed colleagues here with us this evening as subject matter experts. We have Reddick Morris, the strategic manager from the Department of Public Safety Communications, Sarah Gary, the division director of jail and court-based services with the Community Services Board, and Captain Travis Connor from the Fairfax County Police Department. So please join me in welcoming all of our esteemed colleagues. So for those of you who may be less familiar, Diversion First is a county initiative that offers alternatives to arrest and incarceration for people with mental illness, substance use disorders, and or developmental disabilities who come into contact with the criminal justice system. Diversion First really isn't a singular program, but a cross-system philosophy and approach that includes a whole continuum of services. Ultimately, the goal is to provide treatment and support and a pathway out of the justice system, as well as better outcomes for this population. Diversion First also represents a huge systems transformation and a major culture change throughout the county. Just by way of some brief history, back in June of 2015, county leaders, community members came together with a shared vision for transforming the intersection between behavioral health and the justice system. And in that same summer, 2015, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors adopted a Stepping Up resolution. Stepping Up is a national initiative dedicated to reducing the over-incarceration of people with mental illness and improving responses to behavioral health needs in jails and communities. So that's really when the major planning for Diversion First started. And it was a rush to the finish line. I've been with the county for many, many years, and I've never seen something come together and be stood up so quickly. So from June of 2015 to January 1st, there was a lot of planning, crisis intervention team training was implemented, as well as mental health first aid training. There were a lot of policies, standard operating procedures developed. And in January of 2016, Diversion First really launched with the opening of the Merrifield Crisis Response Center, which you'll hear more about in just a moment. So just a quick little graphic here. Along with many, if not most, other jurisdictions throughout the country, Fairfax County uses this sequential intercept model as a framework to inform community-based strategies and responses involved with the behavioral health and criminal justice intercepts. So this model identifies 6 different intercept points, each with the possibility for intervention. And since Diversion first started, the county was really intentional about developing services along each of these intercept points, recognizing that a comprehensive approach would improve the lives of families, individuals. So Diversion First now includes a continuum of services that provide a pathway to treatment and recovery. And the continuum that we have today and that you'll hear about was not built overnight. This is really 10 years in the making. We just celebrated our 10th year. And some programs were in existence, and we'll talk about that, prior to the development of Diversion First. But many programs were developed under that umbrella. And you'll hear about services along that continuum in just a moment. So one thing I really wanted to highlight is there are many county agencies and also community partners who contribute to Diversion First efforts. Cross-system collaboration is really essential, and Diversion First does not work without it. And I think it's really a true collective impact initiative where there are fewer silos among partner agencies. Teams bring together each of their unique perspectives and skill sets and learn about services and resources across the system. And most, if not all, with very few exceptions, programs and services are really interconnected and involve multiple agencies. So strong partnership is really key. So we're going to talk a little bit about crisis services now. And one thing that we wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of, and we try to get the word out as much as possible, is about the Regional Crisis Call Center and 911 line. 988 line. 988 is a 3-digit number that connects people to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And it's for folks who are experiencing mental health struggles, emotional distress, alcohol and drug concerns, or people who just need to talk to someone. They also will take calls and encourage calls from family members who are concerned about someone. 988 offers free, confidential, 24/7 access to trained crisis call takers who can help people who are experiencing distress. People can phone, chat, or text, whichever they prefer, and it's available throughout the United States. Locally, the organization HopeLink, which many of you or some of you may be familiar with, HopeLink and Fairfax County have partnered to ensure coordinated quality services for Fairfax County residents. So the partnership involves public safety agencies, the Community Services Board, and agencies work together to have a coordinated behavioral health response to get people connected to the right resources at the right time. So when you call 988, you're getting a real person on the other end. They do not use AI, and they offer a lot of personalized services too. If the call taker is interested and willing, HopeLink 988 can send a regional crisis team. And throughout the United States and locally, there is a specialized veterans crisis line, which includes services for veterans, active duty members, reserve members, and family members and loved ones. There is also a dedicated line for Spanish speakers, and for other languages, translation and interpreter services are available. So we just want to make sure that we highlight if it is a life-threatening medical emergency, if there's a crime in progress, if there's a fire, absolutely call 911. If someone has a behavioral health concern specifically, they can call 988. And 988 works in tandem with 911 to make sure that calls are, there's a warm handoff between calls between 911 and 988 if one entity really needs the partnership and help of the other. So I had talked a little bit, I briefly introduced the sequential intercept model, and we want to take just a quick tour through the intercepts. So starting with intercepts 0 and 1, this really represents the beginning of crisis services and the really the crux of the continuum. And it's really rooted in what is called the Crisis Now framework. And Crisis Now is a model that's used throughout Virginia and in many localities and states throughout the country. And it involves the framework of someone to call, someone to respond, and someplace to go for people in crisis. So I'm pointing, like you can see me pointing to my screen. The services that are listed on this slide, I'm going to hand off to Laura Maddock, and she is going to take you on a brief tour through each of these services.
Sure. Thanks, Lisa. Before we get to that, there was a question in the chat, and I'm trying to understand the crisis continuum sequential interception question, but I did answer the second about HopeLink being the contractor that manages the crisis call line, and they were asking where folks could potentially find employment to support that. So I suggested there was a website, but that we could confirm that. So I don't know if you want to address the crisis care continuum question.
So I'm not able to see the questions while I'm sharing my screen.
So I can read it if that's okay.
Sure.
Is the crisis care continuum the sequential interception, that's in quotes, at the onset of identifying that a person is experiencing a behavioral health crisis from your model?
So this national model, thank you, Laura, and thank you to whoever asked the question. This national model is really the framework for informing strategies. So it includes the very beginning when, even before a crisis may occur, when someone feels like they're experiencing some emotional distress, they want to reach out, they want to talk to someone, they can call 911. But if someone continues, experiences a crisis, may encounter the criminal justice system, that's where that sequential intercept model comes in and provides us with a bit of a framework around all of those different intercept points. So we're able to address not only gaps in the system, but build in resources and supports at each one of those intercept points. So if someone does end up further in the criminal justice system, we still have an opportunity to intervene. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
I'll let you change the slide since I don't have access.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. So as Lisa pointed out, here at the Merrifield Crisis Receiving Center, that's where emergency services and many of these other services are housed. So here we see people anytime, any day, any way. Whatever stress they're in, they can either come walk in, they can be referred, police can bring them to us, the hospital can refer an individual to us as well. But we are here 24/7, and our phone number is on the screen, and people do call us 24/7, very similar to the crisis 988 line. When they're not sure where to go or what to do, they call and consult with us. So again, we're a walk-in service 24/7, 365 days. We take referrals from many, many different areas to include the private sector, families, friends, other case managers in the CSB. And what we do is we assess that person. No matter what situation they're in, we need to figure out what their crisis is. And sometimes their crisis is not necessarily mental health, but this is their safe place to go. So we need to figure that out and help get them in that right direction. This is offered face-to-face in the building, and I'll talk a little bit in a minute about co-responder and mobile crisis and our other mobile units that can offer this service in the field. Pretty much anywhere we need to go, they can offer this service. We can also see individuals, especially when they're at the hospitals, via telehealth, because sometimes it's not easy for us to get there in a timely fashion. We can also offer medication management here in ES, and let me just kind of explain what that means, because we don't just willy-nilly hand out medication to everyone, but if it's going to help someone and prevent a hospitalization and get them stable, we're going to try and provide them what they need at that moment in time. We can then connect them to services, and hopefully they can continue getting that medication through our psychiatrists in the CSB. But here in ES, we have, in addition to our licensed clinicians, we have psychiatrists, we have nurse practitioners, and we have physician's assistants that help us with that medication management piece. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do the assessment to determine what is the need. Sometimes it's voluntary placement, crisis stabilization. Maybe it's a referral to entry and referral so that they can establish services. And then other times it may be involuntary, which is where the partnership with CIT and having them co-located in this building is extremely important for our program. And here at Merrifield Crisis Receiving Center, we also have peer support. And in addition to having them here, they accompany us sometimes in the field to provide that lived experience when necessary. I'll let you thank you. So as I mentioned, we call Merrifield Crisis Response. I say receiving. I'm getting it confused with our Crisis Receiving Center that may be coming in the future. So forgive me. There's multiple different words that get interchanged. As I mentioned, we are here 24/7 along with our law enforcement CIT partners. And I mentioned earlier that they can either come in voluntary with police officers and or involuntary under what's called an emergency custody order. That order gives us 8 hours to complete an assessment and determine whether or not we're going to move forward with a temporary detention order. And here, not just law enforcement PD, we have law enforcement, the deputy's sheriff's office, also co-located in our facility to support our CIT program. When individuals are brought with patrol, our goal is to do our assessment and make a determination as quickly as possible so that we can get patrol back on the street and assume custody from our CIT officers here if they are available to do so. We also work with our smaller jurisdictions in Fairfax to include Herndon, Vienna, and Fairfax-Falls Church as well. Going back to our CIT trained law enforcement officers that I mentioned are here 24/7. They also help and assist with training the CIT program to other law enforcement personnel in the department, as well as our extended partnerships with the other agencies located in our Northern Virginia area. So as I mentioned earlier, I won't go over it again, but law enforcement can bring people here if they're voluntary and they want to come. Otherwise, they will be coming sometimes under an ECO by law enforcement. And again, as I mentioned on the earlier slide, we take walk-ins and referrals from anywhere in the community. Before I go to the next one, do you guys have any questions so far? How do I see something in there? How do we get 988 awareness events through a partner vendor kind of thing?
So, once we run through the PowerPoint, I will toggle over and pop some brochures for folks in the chat.
Mr. Shockley, I think he had his hand.
I think maybe it's a similar question because I was curious how, getting the information out to general public and more importantly to at-risk communities. I mean, this is important, and I can imagine a lot of tragedies could be avoided with PSA announcements, and I know there are budget limitations potentially from maybe having TV ads and that sort of thing, but I was just curious how you get the message out to a broad community.
Well, I can tell you that we work really hard with our law enforcement partners as well as fire and rescue and other agencies in our community to do presentations whenever we're invited, especially in the schools. We do a lot of work collaboratively with the schools to get that information out. We also have what we call our Marcus Alert Coordinator who helps also promote that information. So whenever we get an opportunity, we do our best to share that. Miss Mary?
Yeah, thanks for taking questions. In Route 1 area where I am, this was a couple years ago at community meetings. Often people, mainly mothers, would question where they had a child, like a teenager, who needed a crisis intervention, and they get into the social services somehow, and they'd always say, "Well, take him out to Merrifield to get him evaluated." And they would say, "Wait a minute, I don't have a car. There's buses. It's hard. He might not come. How am I going to handle him to get out there?" Is there any solution now for getting local evaluations or assessments?
So on our next slide, I believe, we talk about co-responder and we talk about mobile crisis. And those units can go to those individuals who can't otherwise get to Merrifield Crisis Response Center. And then there are opportunities that we can work with individuals if we need to. On rare occasions, we'll provide transportation here. And depending on the situation, we can work with each local law enforcement station with our CIT commander to see if there is any avenue we have with that approach as well. It's tricky sometimes. You don't want to just transport the whole family because you got to make sure, optics are important. We don't want families to look like they're getting in trouble and things like that. So we work really hard to try and get this service to everyone that we possibly can. Plus, I mentioned telehealth. That's an option too. We can connect with people if we need to that way.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So we're moving on to our mobile crisis unit. Our mobile crisis unit operates 24/7. We have one unit that covers the entire county with two clinicians on that unit. For a little while, we only had one, and best practice is to have two. So we've changed our staffing to accommodate that. And that way they can support each other out in the community because sometimes doing interventions with multiple folks can get a little challenging. Plus, it's about safety. So we want to make sure our individuals are safe when they go into the community to perform these services. As I mentioned to you, Miss Mary, these mobile crisis is there for those individuals who can't or maybe aren't willing to come to MCRC or Merrifield Crisis Response Center. And again, we respond to referrals coming from everywhere. They come from DPSC, they come from public safety, they come from the community, the hospitals, our case managers. We put family members, the board members. I mean, we get referrals from many different avenues. And our mobile crisis team also supports our crisis negotiation team, not ours, Fairfax County Police Department crisis negotiation team. And we support every deployment that is a call out for any negotiation that's going on in the community. So we support that 24/7, 365 days a week. Fortunately, we're not called that much. You want to move on, Miss Lisa? Okay. And Our other program that's relatively new, when I say new, within the 10 years, don't hold me to the date, Lisa. What was it, 2018 that I'm getting that one in CRT mixed up.
Co-responder really launched small scale. We did a pilot in 2021.
Yeah, I knew I was getting the dates.
Yeah, CRT was 2018. You got that.
Yeah. So our co-response team consists of a CIT law enforcement partner with the police department and a CSB crisis intervention specialist. So a crisis intervention specialist is a master's level clinician, primarily licensed. We have a few unlicensed that are in supervision that perform that role with our CIT co-responding officer. These individuals are dispatched or self-dispatch when they see a call going on to those higher level triage level calls, like imminent danger, imminent risk. Somebody is really needing services, but maybe they're aggressive and the family member can't get them there. There's multiple different reasons. So that unit is dispatched to assist in that situation and determine what that individual needs in that moment of crisis. So they get to respond quickly, right? That's the whole point of co-responder, to get to the scene as quickly as they possibly can to maybe de-escalate if there's an opportunity to do that, to divert from arrest if possible, and connect them to services, whether it's hospitalization or crisis stabilization, or maybe even connect them to their case manager or therapist in the private sector. Again, we see anybody, anywhere, anytime, any day. Doesn't matter how old they are. Doesn't matter if they're a newborn, because sometimes we see parents that are struggling and they have small kids there. So again, anybody, anywhere, anytime. I can't stress that enough. And another benefit of having co-responder is to potentially do the assessment in the field so that we don't have as many emergency custody orders, and hopefully we can release that patrol unit back to their regular job. Not that this isn't their regular job, but their other stuff where they may need to respond quickly. And as Lisa had mentioned early, collaboration is a big part of what we do. If we don't have a partnership with the PD, with the sheriffs, with the jails, with DPSC, I mean, there's so many that she mentioned, we can't do our job effectively. So it's extremely important to enhance and provide that continuity of care for the individual we're serving. Okay. All right. I mentioned there are some other mobile units that have a unique niche to what they do. PRT is what we call our post-response team. These individuals, one is a peer, as I mentioned earlier, an individual who has lived experiences, partnered with a clinician in the community to follow up on some of those high-risk cases. These individuals that are referred to the PRT team are typically coming from our co-response team and our mobile crisis team, and sometimes our CRT team, which I'll explain that one to you as well. So research shows if we can do a follow-up really quickly after a crisis, it's going to help reduce what word am I looking for? Not recidivism, but another crisis quickly happening. So if we can get another team in there to do some planning, engagement, and referral, then hopefully we give that person a better chance to recover and get the services they need. Our BHLs, as I mentioned earlier, we have a good and a strong partnership with our DPSC partners, 911 Center. A BHL is what we call our behavioral health liaison. And this is a clinician that is embedded in the 911 center to help assist public safety with different things such as super utilizers, those individuals that may be calling 911 over and over again, trying to find services that maybe they don't know what they need. Maybe calling 911 is a comfort for them. So hopefully the behavioral health liaison can maybe either engage and connect with that person and ultimately refer them to the CRT team. They're there for support and consultation, not only to DPSC, but to law enforcement and fire and rescue who sit there in the 911 center, as well as our staff and our corresponding unit and mobile crisis unit that are in the field. So that's our BHL who is stationed at DPSC 911. And then we have our CRT team. This is our crisis response team, which was created in 2018. And this comprises of a fire rescue medic and a clinician. And they are going to those individuals that have made either 6 calls or have had 6 encounters in less than 6 months. It all starts to roll together with either DPSC, law enforcement, or fire and rescue. So those folks that are continuing to use that 911 continuum of service, when maybe we could shift them to a more appropriate service. Usually we find that they have either unmet behavioral health needs or unmet medical needs, which is why our partnership with fire and rescue is so important, because we can tackle both situations with a medic and a mental health professional. They operate Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and we have actually 2 teams because our caseload has increased considerably. Again, referrals for our CRT team come from many different avenues. We mentioned collaboration and partnership. We have a very good collaboration with Inova. They are a big referral source for us for the CRT team, and we work very closely with them because if folks are using 911, if they're using, police stations, if they're using fire and rescue, they're also using the hospital ERs as well. So we have to work together to share information as well as provide that continuum of care. Also, Adult Protective Services is a big partner with our CRT team because we find that a lot of our cases involve geriatric patients. Any questions so far? Is there a limit to how long people in crisis remain? So we don't keep people here at the Merrifield Crisis Response Center. And I'm trying to answer your question. If they need something beyond here, we're going to connect them. But technically, we can't keep someone beyond a 23-hour period, if that answers your question, because of licensure and regulations. The 8-hour assessment strictly applies to the emergency custody order, which gives a law enforcement officer that right to bring someone in under an emergency custody order and allow us to do the evaluation. Our evaluation should be completed in probably 1 to 2 hours at most. And then we start to move forward with our recommendations. And if that's a TDO, we'll obtain a TDO, which is a temporary detention order, which is involuntary placement. And then we would get them transferred either to Inova, Fairfax for medical clearance. If we can do it here, we'll do it here. But chances are with our bed shortage, we send them to Inova Fairfax because as I mentioned, we can't keep them beyond 23 hours in our facility. Does that answer your question? Okay, perfect. You want to move on? Okay. Oh, I'm kicking it back to you.
Great.
Hi.
So thank you, Laura. And as you have all heard, hopefully it comes through that our goal is really to intervene as early as possible and avoid any future interaction or additional interaction with the justice system. If an individual does become involved in deeper end justice involvement, there's still opportunities for us to intervene. And that's really intercepts 2 and 3. And this supervised release program, it's pretrial services. And I think this is a really good example of pretrial services existed before Diversion First. But when Diversion first started, court services got additional positions so that the probation officers would have specialized caseloads. And the probation officers with those specialized caseloads have advanced training in working with people with behavioral health issues. So it really helps the individual to be working with somebody who understands what they're going through. It helps people to receive some supervision and often not be incarcerated while they're waiting for trial, and they'll have that supervision during that time. So that's all something that's part of Intercept too. If someone is booked into the adult detention center, several years ago, the sheriff's office, the ADC, started doing standardized screening at booking. So people are screened using a tool called the Brief Jail Mental Health Screen for mental health issues, another tool called the NIDA Assist to screen for substance use issues. And then that creates a notification to the CSB staff who are on site at the jail to be able to provide services. There is a really robust continuum of behavioral health services within the jail. The array of behavioral health services includes crisis intervention, evaluation, psychiatric services, pre-release case management, connections to care post-release, as well as MOUD, which is medication for opioid use disorders. MOUD started in 2020 within the Adult Detention Center, and the philosophy is opioid use disorder is a chronic but treatable condition similar to diabetes, heart disease, asthma, and with medication, someone can go on to be completely functional and really have a very different shot in the community once they're on medication. With the MOUD program, the sheriff's office has really made it a priority to offer this evidence-based treatment for individuals while they're incarcerated, but also to provide post-release services, supports, help people to make that connection once they're released from the adult detention center. Also within the ADC is the STAR program, and this was started by Sheriff Kincaid in, I think, 2018. We keep going back to 2018, Laura. And STAR is a peer-led addiction recovery program. It's voluntary. The participants are in cohorted housing, so they're together in a housing unit for the duration of their stay at the adult detention center. And it's very structured programming focused on recovery, accountability, learning the skills, supports, developing resources needed for success in the community. It's led by peer support specialists with support from the jail-based medical team, as well as the behavioral health professionals that are cited inside the jail. One really cool thing I think that the STAR program has done is they've started bringing in peer certification training for the STAR participants. STAR stands for Striving to Achieve Recovery. So while someone is in the STAR program, they can go through the peer support certification, which then also leads to a pathway for employment post-release. And then certainly peer supports are not only involved in the STAR program, but throughout a lot of the jail-based programs, as well as the community-based programs. The jail diversion program consists of clinicians, peer recovery specialists, and medical staff who provide intensive case management to individuals who are involved in the justice system, who have mental illness. They help with coordinating psychiatric meds, treatment, health insurance, primary care, housing, and meaningful day activities. This team also oversees court-supervised mandatory outpatient treatment. The diversion engagement team serves individuals who are caught in that cycle of repeated incarcerations and psychiatric crises, focusing on folks that have frequent contact with emergency services and/or the adult detention center. And a lot of their work is done in the community. They work with people in shelters, in people who come for court appearances. They do home visits. They meet people at McDonald's, anywhere in the community where they can make those connections. And this team also does outpatient competency restoration. And then finally, for intercepts 2 and 3, and I'm starting to talk faster because I'm looking at the clock and I see it's 9:01. The specialty dockets provide diversion through an intensive structured process that involves court supervision and also integrates treatment. There's a veterans docket that started in 2015, a recovery court also in 2018 that started, a mental health docket that started in 2019, and all 3 dockets are approved by the Virginia Supreme Court and follow national best practice standards. The dockets are amazing. They do such incredible work, and it's really something to see the transformation from when somebody enters the docket and when they leave, because it's a very intensive program. Typically a year to 2 years, and for some folks it can last even longer, and they stay and they continue, and we all celebrate when there's a graduation. And usually there are 2 graduations for each of the dockets twice a year. 2 a year. Moving on to, I think, our final slide, intercepts 4 and 5. We've talked a little bit about reentry services, but it's helping folks that are at the adult detention center prepare for that transition back to the community, whether they've been there for a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, or longer, and really help link people to the resources they need to be successful in the community. Certainly the Community Services Board provides a lot of the treatment, but also we work very closely with community partners. I'd mentioned medication for opioid use disorder. The CSB does have an addiction medicine clinic. George Mason University also has a MOUD bridge clinic. So we can make sure that folks are connected to medication once they're released from the adult detention center. Talked about peer supports. And I will also mention Diversion First Housing. There are 38 units total, and folks who are referred often enter housing, and some are there as a transition. Some stay for a more permanent supportive housing. The retention rate is extraordinarily high. We have very little turnaround, which is a good thing because people are stable and they're able to maintain that housing. But the downside is we don't have a lot of room for people to move in and out of Diversion First Housing. But that's been a very successful program and a very strong partnership with the Office of Housing and Community Development. So sorry to kind of rush through part of the end there. I know that you had some questions as we went along, but also just want to open it back up to see if anyone has any additional questions. I'll also stop sharing my screen, and that'll allow me to pull up some resources I can pop in the chat for you.
I had a question. Just Les Shockley.
Hi, Les.
Hi. First of all, I applaud. I learned a lot when we had our meeting with you back, I guess, in the January, February timeframe. And I always wonder about metrics. And I guess one of the easy metrics is we haven't, as a county, had any embarrassing incidents that have occurred like what recently happened in Madison, Wisconsin, where that individual is known to have mental disability issues, was known by the police, and yet something like that, tragic like that, still happened. It would be a great case study. So just statistically, it seems that you're succeeding. You've got the resources. My understanding is you all were happy with your budget for 2027. So are there any limitations that you see yourself having in terms of your resources? I know you never can have everything you want, but generally things have been operating pretty well.
No, it's funny. We're part of a national cohort, the Stepping Up cohort, And just earlier today, I was on a call with people from around the country, and it's kind of amazing to me when I look at our continuum and I hear that how much is not available in other jurisdictions in other parts of the country. So to have built out what we've been able to build out. Oh, and this question around, is this type of service available outside of Fairfax County? No, no. I mean, many counties do have some version of continuum of services. And nationally, there's been a huge emphasis on crisis services, probably more in the past 5 years than I've ever seen before. As far as stepping up counties, the counties that have passed a resolution saying, we're going to do something different and we're going to reduce the over incarceration of people with mental illnesses whenever we can, whenever possible. There are 583 counties that have signed on, and 54 are designated innovator counties, and Fairfax County is designated an innovator county. So we're really fortunate to have all that we have here. And the people, many of whom are on this call, who've been so incredibly passionate, dedicated, commitment to driving things forward. So I feel like we're incredibly fortunate to have the resources, but also it's about leveraging the resources. So the partnerships that exist have helped us to amplify some of those efforts, if that makes sense. We've been able to do, I think, a lot more than a lot of other places because of those relationships that have been developed. And when you go to a meeting and you see people from all over public safety, behavioral health, the court, sitting around the table, now talking the same language, all moving in the same direction, all with common goals, it makes a big difference. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does. That's helpful. Thank you.
You did great, Lisa. That was phenomenal. And I want to say that our sheriff's office and our police department do a very good job training their officers so that they have the education they need, and hopefully mitigate any of the embarrassing moments that you mentioned, Mr. Shockley.
And I just have to say, a lot of places do it really well. So not to minimize, there are a lot of jurisdictions out there that are doing phenomenal work in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, and throughout the country.
And I see a comment from Brandon about Fredericksburg has a really good peer recovery specialist program. They do. And just so you guys understand, we don't just collaborate within our own county, we collaborate within our region and within the state. And we do have regular meetings with our partners from other jurisdictions to kind of share what we're doing and what's working so that hopefully we're all implementing the best practices we can.
I was able to put in some links, but I'm having a hard time uploading. So when I send the slide deck to Matt, there are a couple of other brochures I can include along with that, if that works for everyone.
Yeah, that'd be great. And we'll make sure to share that with folks. All right. If there's no other questions, I think we can send it back to you, Nikki. President Nikki.
Thank you. Well, round of applause for our guest speakers. Is there a place where we can get the slide information, or do you all have flyers that we can post, or is it something that we can keep the information out there?
Yes, I'll be following up tomorrow with an email to Matt with the slide deck as well as some additional brochures.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Well, if there are no more questions, we are going to adjourn the meeting. I'm gonna can someone make a motion to adjourn?
President Zimmerman, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
And I will second.
No, somebody second before you, Les. Who was that?
Brandon.
Brandon. Brandon second. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Any discussion? Before we adjourn the meeting, we're going to have a closeout prayer from Religious Affairs.
I thank you. Let us look to the Lord. Father and faithful God, we thank you for your presence with us throughout this meeting and for the guidance, wisdom, and unity you have provided. Keep us safe, united, and encouraged as we move forward in this work. Bless us tonight and until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you again, Chair Soud, for a great presentation.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stay on for a few minutes if anybody needs me. So other than that, have a great night. See you next month.
Thank you.
Right.
Mary, don't forget to send Mary gone. Don't forget to send Lester stuff.
President Zimmerman, you are now host. Good night.
No, I'm not, because somebody needed me.
I've made you host, so whether or not you want to be or not, you are.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Can I stop
Okay, I think
recording?
everybody's gone. Somebody's
I'm sure you want to start recording.